Hey everybody, this is Chris Jasper from the Isley Brothers and Isley Jasper and Isley. Please listen to the electricsoulshow.com, playing you the best in contemporary black music from across the board.
Ontem você Você disse que me ama, sonhando de paixão. Te deixei dormir na minha cama, pensando em perdão. A gente pode dançar, a gente pode se amar. Eu não vou cansar. Fumando no jardim, eu sempre penso que isso não vai ter um fim. Vai correndo, meu amor. Você está tão longe do meu coração. Por que cê não abre suas portas? Atende o celular. Se cê não iria ter uma outra, eu iria ter lugar. A gente pode dançar, a gente pode se amar. Eu não vou cansar. Fumando no jardim, eu sempre penso que isso não tem fim. Vai correndo, meu amor. 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 Você está tão longe do meu coração.
Got something here that is going to be interesting and thought-provoking wherever you are in the world, and it's to do with a mobile phone company that seems to be on everyone's lips of late. Is Huawei, and a mobile phone giant from China, and it's even rivaling Apple, and it's taken its number 2 spot. And Samsung at number 1. Now it's Huawei number 2. Then Apple's number 3. So it goes to show you how big and how quick they've moved up the ladder and by making phones that people love. That's the main thing. The phones are, and also cheaper than Samsung and Apple. And I've got a little report here that you might find interesting. You might like the report, you might not like the report. All we do is ask you to listen to it, okay?
You are watching Cold Fusion TV.
Hi, welcome to another Cold Fusion video. Over the past year, you've probably noticed Huawei appearing in headlines along with Samsung and Apple. As it turns out, they're much bigger than just smartphones, but they're a huge force in the world of telecommunications, way before they even released a smartphone. Today, we'll see how the Chinese giant grew to be one of the largest telecom manufacturers in the world, and why they're at the center of so much controversy. Huawei Technologies was set up in 1987 by Ren Zhengfei. Usually, the founders of companies are young and vibrant, but Ren was different. He was in the midst of a midlife crisis and in his mid-40s when he founded the company. He had plenty of technical expertise from his time as a deputy director at the People's Liberation Army Engineering Corps. So from the very beginning, the company has been tied in some way to the Chinese government. This will come into play later in the story. At this point in time, in the late 1980s, China was a long way behind the Western world when it came to telecommunication. Despite having a population of over 1 billion, there were just 200,000 phone lines when the 90s began. Huawei set up in Shenzhen, a small fishing village that has since become the Silicon Valley of China, only 30 years later. Firstly, the company imported switches from Hong Kong, a country which sat just across the river from China. The components were switchboards that allowed a company to manage multiple internal and external phone lines. The demand was huge as China pushed to modernize, and there was also a desire for a locally made Chinese product rather than relying on imports. So Huawei set up a huge research and development department that focused heavily on analyzing the equipment that was coming in and attempting to reverse engineer it. Within a few years, they had made the most of China's huge, cheap talent pool of engineering graduates and created their own switchboard. They sold these throughout China with government support and soon began to focus on a digital version of the switch in 1993. The strong focus of research and development continued as they set up new facilities in Beijing and Shanghai. And by 1996, they had their first international client, albeit only in Hong Kong. The most important development for Huawei was the appearance of a global system for mobile, coupled with the incredible adoption of the mobile phone. Since their founding, Huawei had always been playing catch-up with the rest of the world, fighting just to match what was already being made. But the mobile phone leveled the playing field. This was a new technology for everyone. Now Huawei's research facilities became an enormous asset as they leveraged them to sign partnership deals with many of the biggest tech firms, from Intel to Sun Microsystems to Motorola and Microsoft. By 1997, they had their own GSM equipment in the market. While many other companies focused on handsets, Huawei's main products were for running the mobile networks themselves. They beat major players like Siemens and Ericsson to win a contract to upgrade Berlin's communication network. In the same year, they created the world's first and largest wireless LAN network. By now, they were a global presence. They had a 1,000-person research facility in India, sales office in Berlin, and major contracts in the Middle East, and were starting to look towards Europe. In 2004, Huawei shipped their first phone, the C300. This would be the first step in an